Arsenal fans are asking the wrong transfer question. They are asking who should come in. A winger, a striker, another midfielder, another squad option, but the real decision is deeper than that. It is not just who Arsenal sign, it is who Arteta builds the attack around next. Because if Arsenal get that decision wrong, they can buy a good player and still create the same old problem. Too much pressure on Saka, not enough threat from the left. A striker isolated, a midfield asked to control everything. So today we open the case file, the Arsenal decision nobody is talking about. Who should this attack actually be built around? Now let's be clear about the case. This is not about attacking Saka, it is the opposite. Saka is trusted because he has earned that trust. He gives Arsenal control, he gives Arsenal threat, he gives Arsenal consistency. And that is exactly why opponents build plans around stopping him. That is the problem. When one side of the attack becomes the obvious pressure point, the whole system becomes easier to read. Defenders know where the danger is likely to come from. Midfielders shift across earlier. Fullbacks get support quicker, and suddenly Arsenal's strongest side can also become the side opponents prepare for most aggressively. So the hidden decision is not whether Saka is important. Of course he is. The hidden decision is whether Arsenal can build an attack where Saka is still elite, but no longer carries the whole pressure of being the main answer. This is where Arsenal's attacking structure becomes the real case, because Saka being the main pressure point is not a weakness by itself. Every elite team has players they trust more than others. The problem starts when the opponent knows that too. If Arsenal's best route is always obvious, then the defensive plan becomes simpler. Double Saka, block the inside lane, force Arsenal backwards, make the attack restart, and if the left side does not punish that shift quickly enough, opponents will keep doing it. That is why this hidden decision matters. Arsenal do not need to reduce Saka's importance. They need to reduce the predictability around him. Because the best version of Arsenal's attack is not Saka doing less. It is everyone else making it harder for opponents to focus on him. Now this is where the left side enters the case. Because if opponents are shifting towards Saka, Arsenal need the opposite side to punish that decision. Not slowly, not occasionally, consistently. That is why the left side cannot just be a place where the ball goes when the right side is blocked. It has to become a threat in its own right, a side that carries danger, a side that forces defenders to hesitate, a side that makes the opposition ask a different question. If Martinelli plays there, the role has to release his running power. If Trossard plays there, the role has to use his intelligence in tight spaces. If Arsenal signs someone new, the role has to be clear before the player arrives. Because the left side is not just about balance on a team sheet, it is about consequence. When opponents overload Saka, what price do they pay? That is the hidden decision Arsenal have to answer. Create a premium 16:9 YouTube cutaway graphic for a football analysis channel called Cannon Casefile. The graphic should show the tactical consequence Arsenal need from the left side when opponents overload Saka. Main title text, what price do they pay? Create a dark red and black investigative football tactical board. Do not use any official Arsenal badge, club logo, exact kit design, real player photos, or copyrighted likenesses. Show an abstract Arsenal attacking structure with the right side overloaded by opposition defensive markers around a roll card labeled Saka. On the opposite side, highlight the left attacking channel with 3 roll cards. Martinelli, label underneath, running power. Trossard, label underneath, tight space intelligence. New profile, label underneath, clear function needed. Add a central tactical arrow from right side overload to left side opportunity. Add a stamped warning, left side must punish the shift. Use deep red, black, charcoal gray, muted white, and subtle gold accents. The design should feel premium, serious, tactical, cinematic, investigative, and football intelligent. Includes subtle tactical pitch lines, defensive shift arrows, attacking lanes, pressure zones, squad planning notes, dossier papers, document stamps, red thread case file details, and analytical grid lines. The visual must match the Cannon Casefile brand. Intelligent Arsenal analysis, dramatic but clean, professional, evidence-led, and football-focused. Make all text large, sharp, correctly spelled, and readable on mobile. No official badge, no club logo, no real player photos, no exact kit design, no copyrighted broadcast graphics, no cartoon style, no messy clutter, no watermark. This is where the attacking hierarchy becomes important, because if Arsenal build the attack only around one pressure point, opponents can load up that side. If they build only around a striker, the striker can become isolated. If they build only around midfield control, the attack can become clean but not ruthless enough. That is why the hidden decision is not about one player, it is about balance. Who carries the main threat? Who creates the second threat? Who gives the striker service? Who punishes the opponent when Saka is doubled? Who changes the game when the left side is blocked? These are the questions Arsenal have to answer before the next phase of the attack makes sense, because a serious attack is not built around hope, it is built around responsibility. And right now, Arsenal have to decide where that responsibility is going to sit. Is it still Saka first and everyone else reacting? Or is this the summer where the attack gets another true reference point? Now this is where the transfer question becomes sharper, because if Arsenal decide the attack needs another reference point, then the profile of the next signing becomes clearer. It cannot just be a famous name. It cannot just be someone who adds depth. It cannot just be a player who looks exciting in clips. The player has to change how opponents defend Arsenal. That is the standard. If it is a left-sided attacker, he has to punish teams for overloading Saka. If it is a striker, he has to connect with the service structure and not become isolated. If it is a midfielder, he has to improve the rhythm without making the attack slower. Every option has to answer the same question. Does this player make Arsenal harder to prepare for? Because if the answer is no, then the signing may improve the squad, but not change the attack. And that is not enough for the next phase. This is why the hidden decision matters so much, because Arsenal do not just need more attackers, they need a different attacking problem for opponents to solve. Right now, the easiest defensive plan is obvious: protect the inside lane, support against Saka, force Arsenal to recycle, wait for the attack to slow down. But if Arsenal build the attack around more than one reference point, that plan becomes harder. Suddenly, overloading Saka creates space on the left. Blocking the left side opens the striker. Tracking the striker gives midfield runners more room. That is what a complete attack does. It creates consequences. And that is why the next signing cannot just be judged by talent. It has to be judged by what it changes. Does it change the opponent's plan? Does it change Arsenal's rhythm? Does it change the number of ways Arteta can hurt a team? If it does not, then Arsenal may add quality without adding fear. Now this is the attack Arsenal should be trying to build. Not one route, not one pressure point, not one player carrying the emotional weight of the whole system. A serious attack gives the opponent multiple problems at the same time. If they double Saka, the left side has to become dangerous. If they shift across to stop the left side, the striker has to become available. If they collapse on the striker, midfield runners have to arrive. That is how you make defenders choose. And that is the hidden decision Arsenal face now. Who becomes the second problem? Who becomes the third problem? Who makes the opponent hesitate before committing two players to Saka? Because if Arsenal cannot answer that, the attack may still look good in normal games, but become easier to control in the biggest ones. The next phase is not about adding another attacker for the sake of it. It is about building an attack with consequences everywhere. This is why the next Arsenal signing has to be judged by responsibility, not just talent, not just reputation, not just how exciting the name sounds on a transfer graphic. Responsibility. Can this player carry pressure when Saka is surrounded? Can this player punish teams when they shift too far across? Can this player make the striker more dangerous? Can this player give Arteta another route when the usual pattern is blocked? That is the level of the decision, because Arsenal already have good players. The question is whether they have enough players who change the opponent's preparation. If the answer is no, then the attack can still become too easy to read, and that is the danger. A team can look dominant in possession and still feel predictable in the final third. That is the gap Arsenal must close. Not just more quality, more consequence. Now we are close to the verdict, and this is where the hidden decision becomes unavoidable. Arsenal cannot build the next version of this attack by simply asking Saka to keep solving everything. That is not fair on him, and it is not difficult enough for opponents. The next phase has to be about consequence across the front line. If the right side is blocked, the left side must punish it. If the left side is blocked, the striker must become the answer. If the striker is tracked, midfield runners must arrive. That is the attack Arsenal should be trying to build. Not one player carrying the whole weight. Not one pattern repeated until opponents learn it. Not one signing expected to fix every problem alone. The hidden decision is how Arsenal share the attacking burden, because when that burden is shared properly, Saka becomes more dangerous, the striker becomes more useful, the left side becomes more meaningful, and Arsenal become much harder to stop. So here is the verdict. The Arsenal decision nobody is talking about is not simply which player should be signed. It is who this attack is built around next. Because if everything still bends towards Saka, opponents already know where the pressure point is. If the left side remains unresolved, Arsenal still carry the same imbalance. If the striker is not properly serviced, the new signing becomes another isolated figure. And if the midfield is asked to control everything and rescue every attack, the burden becomes too heavy. So the ruling is clear. Arsenal do not just need another attacker, they need another attacking reference point. Someone who changes the way opponents defend them. Someone who shares the burden. Someone who makes the attack harder to predict when the biggest matches become tight. That is the hidden decision. Not who sounds exciting, not who creates the loudest transfer debate, not who looks best on a graphic. Who changes the attack? That is what Arteta and Berta must answer. Case closed. If you want Arsenal analysis that looks past the headline and follows the evidence, this is exactly what Cannon Casefile is built for. The next case is already open.